This is Geek News Central. My name is Todd Cochran, and the stories that leads the show as follows. HomePod, my thoughts. A man is suing Facebook, and you're just not going to quite understand why. Verizon is going to start locking cell phones again, and Amazon are cleaning house, laying off some folks. Talk about that, plus all the news and stories of the day. I want to welcome you to episode 1258 of the Geek News Central podcast for Monday, February 12th. This show is sponsored in part by GoDaddy.com and listeners just like you. Great deals from GoDaddy can be found at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. You can support this show today at geeknewscentral.com/insider or simply paypal.me/geeknews. You can pick up Ohana gear at cafepress.com/Ohana store. Hey, I want to give a warm welcome to all the longtime listeners and viewers of the show. Thanks for being here. And of course, if you're brand new to the show, I want to welcome you as a new listener. Welcome to the Ohana. I want you to be very aware if you're brand new, there's really two steps that you need to take. The first step is to get over to geeknewscentral.com. Go over to the website. Just load it up in your browser, on your mobile device, or whatever it may be. And when you get over there, all I really need you to do is to click on Apple Podcast, if you're an iOS user, on Android, if you're an Android user. If you want to get your show notifications by email, just click by email. If you like Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, there's options there for you as well. Get subscribed to the show immediately. That's the thing to do. That way you'll never miss a single episode. Of course, visit geeknewscentral.com daily. We've got lots of great content that's going up right now. All the interviews that were done back in early January at CES continue to be put up on the website with new stuff every day. So definitely come over and check that out now. Lots and lots of content at geeknewscentral.com. So lots of opportunities to come back to the website. Of course, if you are available when we're live, I typically go live around 8 p.m. Hawaiian Standard Time tonight, a little bit early. But if you want to join live, you can do that at live.geeknewscentral.com. We got a chat room there that you can hang out that I monitor during the show. Of course, I'm up on Facebook as well. I'm on YouTube, so in live stream. So we're all over the place as far as the live show goes. So definitely hope you join us live if you're awake. Most of you are asleep, but that's okay. Hey, if you got comments on today's show, you can drop one to me on Twitter at Geek News is my Twitter account, or you can email me geeknews@gmail.com. You can continue the conversation on our Slack channel by sending me an email and requesting me part of our Slack channel. Of course, you can follow on Google Plus or on Facebook. You can watch the show on the Tech Podcast channel on the Roku, or via the Apple TV just by searching for Geek News Central. You can listen on the Amazon Echo by saying the Echo keyword, play the Geek News Central podcast. You can listen on Stitcher, watch review at blueberry.com, or you can tell your Google Home device to OK keyword, play the podcast Geek News Central. And if you have a Microsoft Cortana device, you can say, hey, keyword, to play the Geek News Central podcast. So definitely check all those different ways out to listen to the show. Partner shows of Geek News Central include No Better Than Average with Jacob and Jeff, The Gadget Professor with Mr. Don Bain, the Pro Gear site being written by my team, or if you're a podcaster, lots of Pro Gear suggestions and articles over there. Of course, the new media show was on hiatus this last Saturday because Rob was out at PodFest in Orlando, and will return in a couple of weeks. But, of course, we've got the kind of pod-faded podcast legend show. Of course, this show is sponsored in part by our good friends over at GoDaddy.com, the longest-running continuous sponsor of a podcast known in the universe. Quite frankly, they've been with us since June of 2005, and we want you to take advantage of all those deals that they've have available for you. And February is no different than any other month here at Geek News Central, with lots of cool savings. If you're looking to pick up a new product or GoDaddy, you can get as much as 30% off. You get a .com for 99 cents. That's a one-time code, good for new user accounts. A .com, again, 99 cents newer transfer. You get $1 a month economy hosting with a free domain for the first 12 months. So $12 gets you economy hosting Includes a free domain as an $8.49 value. You can get $1 a month to manage WordPress hosting again for the first year with a free domain as well. So both of those deals. I really love the $1 a month to manage WordPress hosting. It's a really great deal. Definitely check that out over at GoDaddy. And of course, if you're a business or you just really don't want to mess around with doing any type of website building at all, you get a 1 month free trial of GoDaddy Website Builder, your choice of personal business or business plus plans. All my codes start with CJGNC, whether it be $30.99, 1HS, WordPress 1, WP1, or free. All those codes, just click on the link on the website or enter the code at checkout over at GoDaddy.com. That's how you continue to support this show, help us keep the lights on, keep the bills paid, keep the family fed. Allow me to go to Tampa and celebrate my daughter's wedding, and then take the kid and the gang to Disneyland and Universal Studios and hurt the credit card. But hey, it's going to be a nice trip. So anyway, definitely check out my sponsor, geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. Support the show by sharing those codes with your family members, friends, people that you know. Here's someone talking about starting a website. Pass the link. All right, that's how we keep the ball rolling here. That's how we keep the sponsor happy, is by bringing new customers to the game. And you guys help me do that every single month. We want you to continue to do that. And matter of fact, I didn't mention it on the last show because I don't know if I had the numbers or not, but I did get the GoDaddy results so this is February, for December. We did okay. We met our mark, a little lower than what we normally see, but it still was quite sufficient. So thank you for your ongoing support. Also met with Kirk on Saturday, talked with him on the phone. And Kirk is up for the challenge for doing, the guest host while I'm out. Now, I think he's pretty nervous. So I got him set up. I bought him gear. Not a lot. Bought him an ATR 2100 mic and a mic stand, and we've got him downloaded some software to do the recording with, and basically the basic tools he needs to do the show. And I said, listen, I don't care if the show's 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour. You do what you want to do. Do what you're comfortable with. This is out of the gate. Again, he's going to come in to episode 1259 doing his very first podcast. Now, we've never done that with this show. I've never had a guest host that already didn't have some episodes behind him. So you can imagine he's quite nervous. I know you're going to treat him well. And I told him, I'm a call away. Don't worry, even because I'm going to be in Florida. Still, you can call me. Actually, on Thursday, I will be getting ready to get on an airplane. And then we get into to Tampa Friday afternoon. But so anyway, we'll just, see how this goes. And someone had sent me an email and said, Todd, you're the brand of Geek News Central. Yes. That stays the same. But I just thought being gone for 3 episodes was too long. And so Kirk's going to try guest hosting, see how it goes. And he's appreciative of the challenge. You guys will get to meet him. He'll give you the rundown of his background. He's out in New Jersey. So a little bit colder than where I am at currently. But anyway, so just be prepared. And I'm going to be excited to listen to the show. So as far as my travels go, again, leave on Thursday night, get into Tampa on Friday, do the family and my daughter a whole big event Saturday and Sunday. And then Monday, very, very early, we're going to leave for Disneyland. And my wife has given me the marching orders on the times. They are excited to go to Disney. And yeah, I'm not as excited. But that's just okay. I'll give you the details when I get back. But we're there all week. 3 days at Disney, 2 days at Universal Studios. I'm probably going to sneak the Kennedy Space Center in between, as I've said before. Find a day to do that, and then we fly back here on Saturday. So we're going to be posting. Chris and I, my youngest son, have talked about it. We're gonna take the Canon ADD, and we're going to take enough memory sticks and batteries, and we're going to do some video, maybe do some blogging, put some stuff up on Facebook with our phones. Who knows, selfie stick stuff. So just follow along on Facebook, and we'll keep you advised, and maybe even something up on the YouTube channel as well. But again, we'll see how it goes, and we'll have fun. So anyway, that's the schedule. And then once I get back, just looking at the calendar here, so that will take us through, I get back on the 24th, and then so I'll be back in the studio on the 26th, and then I'm in the studio have nothing planned going anywhere in March currently, and then all the way through, well, what'll be is the last episode that I will do in Hawaii before I start a major travel escapade would be on Friday, April 6th, when I fly out to go to the National Association of Broadcasters the week of April 9th. So I get into Vegas the morning of the 7th, get hooked up with the crew, and then we have all week. And then I leave Vegas on the 14th, and do a quick turnaround here in Hawaii, change suitcases, reload, repack, and then fly back out. And then I'll be on the East Coast, right is 3-week tour, a 3-week tour on the East Coast. So again, big ending and shows will be done, audio only, all the way through April, probably through about, I'll probably be back in the studio here around May 7th. So as it stands right now, that's kind of the plan. So not too many missed shows. There might be one travel day in there or something in between. I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes. But anyway, that's the plan, taking you out through May. So I'll be gone for 3 shows and then be back in the saddle and rocking and rolling it, knocking it out, and putting episodes in the can, and delivering what you guys expect me to deliver. So I think that's it as far as what I had in my little stack of notes. Let's talk a little bit about the Apple HomePod and my thoughts. They got here on Friday. Frankly, I didn't open it till Saturday morning, and didn't do an unboxing or anything like that. It's, that I just don't do those well. And there's 5,000 other people doing unboxings. I got right to it. I got it hooked up. Had to, if you hadn't updated your iPhone, you had to have updated a few days before and got something 0.5, I think is the rev. And setup was quick, 5 minutes to get it set up in Apple style, very innovative in the way that the setup was. So the first thing I tried to do, I didn't even talk to it, was just to load some music on Apple Music, start it, and try to throw it to the device. And every time for that first morning, it wouldn't work. I couldn't get it to play. And I was pretty frustrated with it. And I started then doing, the hey keyword to wake it up, and then asking it to do things, play, and it would play music. I said, play AC/DC Back in Black. And much to the annoyance of my daughter, who was still asleep, because this was pretty early. I had gotten up relatively early Saturday morning at like 8 a.m., boom, boom, boom. And the sound in it was awesome. I moved it around 2 or 3 times, and kind of find what I thought was the optimal place for it. And, and she she figured out real quick on how to turn the volume down. I just, reach back over and tapped it back up. So the sound out of it, I will admit, it is, it's pretty rich. It's a nice speaker. It really, really is. And comparing it to my Sonos, I did a little head-to-head listing between the two. The Sonos, almost as good, but not quite as good. And so then I got it started having it play some podcasts. I said, hey, keyword, play the podcast Geek News Central. And the first time I said Geek News Central, it played the video version of the show. Why? And it basically said I'm playing Geek News Central video. And I said, hey, stop. And then I said, play the Geek News Central, play the podcast Geek News Central audio. And it did. It started playing the audio. One thing it did was on some of the stuff that I was testing, it was playing older episodes. And I was like freaking out. I went into my phone and I looked. I'm like, yeah, everything's current in my phone. There's no reason why it would be picking an episode 6 months from now. Whatever, I could never get it to play the podcast that we do over at Blueberry called Your Podcast. It's a show that I do bi-weekly with Mike Dell, and it's real podcast-centric, geeky about the podcasting. It's a 30-minute program, and we do really kind of deep dives and helps and stuff. And so I could never get it to play that, but it wanted to play just about every other podcast I'd never heard of before. So there is some room for improvement. But then after I came back to it later that day and was playing around with it, and I was able, and I don't know if it needed an update or exactly what it needed to do, but it actually would then hand off. I could have I could start something to playlist, start it, and I could push it, and it would switch. It would switch from the phone to the HomePod. I don't know if it needed to get synced up or recognized. I be honest with you, I have no idea. But I'm going to be just very frank, and I had put it up on Facebook, and somebody reacted to my tweet. Great sound, but the Siri implementation on this thing, it's dumber than a box of rocks. I mean, it is. They've got a huge amount of work to do. Huge. It plays music just fine. It'll play playlists just fine, and the sound quality is rocking. But I don't know. I was not impressed with the voice portion of it. And it kept, okay, for example, I did something and it started playing something else. And I was just like, why did you start even doing what you're doing? And it had a tendency not to stop when I said, hey, keyword stop. It went, and then, oh my God. So I recorded this little video. I'm going to tell you how crazy this is. I recorded this little video, right? And I recorded it and I spoke, and you guys saw the video on Facebook, and you haven't, just go to my Facebook page and look at it. So before I posted that to Facebook, I sat down in a couch, which is like 10 feet, maybe 8, 9, 10 feet away. And I played the video back, and I played it over the speaker on the iPhone. That was enough to trigger this device to redemonstrate the things that I had demonstrated in the video, and that was entertaining in itself because it got even more screwed up. And I kept having to say, "Hey, keyword stop. Hey, keyword stop." It just went bonkers. So it has this thing is going to get tricked big time by television. It reacts to any voice. And so I'm thinking to myself, and I haven't quite yet figured out how to stop it from listening. It's pretty easy on the Amazon devices, on Google Home. There's a button you push, click, and it basically shuts the microphone off. And I run them all the time with the microphone off. And with the HomePod, it's just on all the time. And so I found myself going over and unplugging it. I'm not big on letting these things just sit continuously listening. I think it's a big issue. I'm sure there's a way to mute it. I haven't figured out the sequence of taps or whatever to make that happen at this point. Quite frankly, haven't even took the time to go look But on all the other devices, on the Cortana, on the Google Home device, on Amazon's devices, they all just very simple. Right there, push the button, and it mutes the mic, and it's not listening to you. Now, if you're talking to your device all day, that muting and unmuting the mic can be a bit of a pain. But the Hey keyword implementation on the HomePod, caca. I mean, horrible. And this thing is going to get triggered. This thing is going to get triggered anytime you've got the TV on and an Apple commercial comes on and it says, "Hey, beep." It's going to trigger this device. No doubt in my mind. So we'll see if they get that fixed. Let's talk about a man that's suing Facebook for moderating his post. Now, let's just put it out there to begin with. This guy's a bigot, and he's put some stuff out that's just like, oh my God, bad. But he basically he is suing Facebook in this like 20-page complaint where he wants Section 230 declared unconstitutional. Now, what Section 230 is it's a protection that's given to internet service providers and companies like mine. So, for example, if someone comes on to Blueberry and they have a highly inflamed, bigoted, racial, you name it, whatever extreme category show, we don't monitor the content that's going in. Now, when we receive a complaint, we go look. We basically react upon a complaint that comes in. And he's basically saying that Google is trying to say not Google, Facebook said I'm protected under Section 230 because we don't actively, quote unquote, monitor post, where this individual obviously has said something and has triggered a review and people have come in. Now, this is the argument that Facebook's going to use. Now, this is how this thing is going to get thrown out. But it does raise the question, what happens when Facebook utilizes software to scan comments and commentary and post and makes a determination if they're... Now, I've had posts that I've written, get ready to post, and they've made suggestions to me. Maybe you shouldn't use this word. And I've had to make edits. So, in a sense, is Facebook really, truly, and this lawsuit, again, it's going to get thrown out. Let's just be straight up about that. But the question really becomes at some point, is Section 230 that protects internet service providers going to apply to Facebook when they're using lots of tools to review and flag content? The plaintiff, and this is part of his complaint, plaintiff is standing through defendant's repeated, prolonged, unconstitutional blocking, and otherwise restricting with great aplomb plaintiff's ability to post his public comments, which include but are not limited to political opinions, philosophical observations, cultural observations, religious and scientific observation, and ideas on defendants' publicly offered and universal available electronic platform. Such ideas and opinions are the private property of the plaintiff and not taken without due process by anyone, including defendants. In other words, he's saying you do not have a right to review and take down my content. And this is the first time I've ever seen it argued that a private corporation's moderation decisions are, number one, a Fifth Amendment violation, and that they're violating Section 230. So, okay, this is some of the stuff he said. O.J. Simpson, more proof that you can take a beep out of the beep, but you can't take that beep out of the beep. Okay, And then he says the beep evolved from, I can't even read this. It's horrible. So this is stuff that should be moderated. But is it being triggered by a human that has read the content and flagged it for their review, or does Facebook have a tool that flags it automatically? That's a good question that could be raised. And I'm not a lawyer, but Section 230, there could be some concern there. When does it change from being software-driven reviews? When do you break the 230 rule? But really, the 230 rule was, pretty valuable for ISPs, that they didn't have to practice moderation. In fact, it protected them when they didn't. But Facebook can do whatever they want. They're a private company, not private. Well, they're a public company, but they're, you know what I mean. You're on the website at their pleasure. You don't have a right to be on Facebook. So it'll be fun to watch this one. This one's going to, I guarantee it's going to get dumped, but it does raise long-term questions that I haven't even thought about in the back of my head before. All right, Verizon start locking smartphones to its network, and you think, oh my God, we're going to go through this again? Really? And you think, why are they doing this? Verizon has been long the best bet for those who want unlocked phones. Almost every handset that they sell is unlocked out of the box. But they're going to make some changes to that behavior this spring when it starts locking smartphones to its network in a bid to combat theft. Now, so interesting. Verizon's going to enforce new policy steps will initially unlock the handset once the customers finish the activation process, so that it can prevent people from stealing smartphones from its stores. They're going to come into the store locked, and then when you leave, they'll be unlocked. But the second step will take place by spring when Verizon will implement a waiting period. It will then lock new smartphones to its network for an unspecified time before allowing customers to unlock them. It hasn't confirmed as yet how long customers will have to wait to unlock the device, and then they'll have to manually submit a request to get their device unlocked. Unlocked phones are particularly targeted by thieves, but can easily be resold or shipped out of the United States to other countries where they can be used with different carriers. And I thought there was a global database for stolen phones. I guess not. I guess once they leave the country, they can be used. But Verizon says this new policy to help prevent devices from being stolen when they've been shipped to its retail stores or from its store themselves. They're going to provide more info here, but this is the way I look at it. They're not doing subsidies for phones anymore. We're paying for them. You are buying and you own the phone. Okay, now you may be on a payment plan, so technically you may not own it until you get done paying for it, but we're buying and we're paying full retail for phones. So, should they be allowed to do this again? Because if you get fed up and you want to go to a different carrier, are you going to have to go through the same hassles before? You have to pay off the phone. It should still be yours. You should be able to have it unlocked. So it's a good question. It really, really is. So we'll see where this leads. Hey, Amazon's laying off corporate employees in a rare cutback. Amazon's cutting several hundred jobs in Seattle and hundreds elsewhere. A rare layoff that appears to fall predominantly on its established consumer retail business. And the company continues to hire aggressively in other areas. Matter of fact, they've got like 12,500 help wanted ads in Seattle alone. Now, I didn't know this. Amazon's global workforce is at 566,000, up 66% from a year earlier. Counting only corporate roles outside of Amazon warehouses, the company had 12,500 open jobs on Monday. It's also in the process of selecting a location for a second headquarters where it plans to hire up to 50,000 workers. So, and it goes talking about management practices, but they're going to get rid of some people. So this is rare, but not to the massive scale that maybe like Microsoft and others have done. But nonetheless, if you're in Seattle, it'd be time to be nervous. This should not come as a surprise. A security researcher has discovered that thousands of legitimate websites, many belonging to local governments and government agencies, are running scripts that secretly force visitors' computers to mine crypto coins. In the UK, both the websites of the Information Commissioner's Office and the Student Loan Company have found to be infected. The mining scripts are also found on websites of the General Medical Council and NHS Inform. Websites belonging to the state of Indiana government and the United States court systems were also discovered to be running coin hive mining software. And so a lot of sites, a lot of governmental sites. And it just makes you think, wow, great security there, fellas. Come on, IT guys. You guys named Ben. ITM to the No Agenda listeners out there. And you guys don't know what I'm talking about. So, kind of crazy. Government websites have been running crypto coin mining scripts. Sad. Probably managed by the lowest bidder. Hey, I want to talk to you guys. Sometimes it's the simple things. I found a SD card carrier. It's from a Chinese company. It's sold on Amazon. It's called HomePod. And, I almost dropped it here and banged the keyboard. But this is, I used to carry on my SD cards in a little different case. But this little thing is perfect. And underneath the SD cards, you got micro SD. And then you just snap in your regular SD card. So this is it's just the simple things. A little $9 case. I bought 2 of them. Got them full with SD cards. And they just travel. Looks like a little business card holder. Matter of fact, when they came, my wife was like, "Did you buy a business card holder?" I'm like, "No, I was expecting an SD card carrier." So this little case from HomePod, not bad. And there's a dozen companies that sell these things. But anyway, this was a nice little purchase from Amazon. Anyway, HomePod is the company. For those of you listening, just search on Amazon HomePod SD card holder. I bought the one that holds 8. It's not too big, not too small, and holds enough SD cards to last me for a day of shooting. Easy. Over on dumblittleman.com, they've got a link up here for the 10 best sites for free and paid online courses. And CourseRoot, Udacity, Lynda, Udemy. I like Udemy a lot. EDX, Allison, Khan Academy, another good one. Code Academy, another good one. Whole bunch of sites here that I wasn't aware of before. So if you're looking for online free and paid courses, definitely check this link up. Be up in the show notes for you to get a little education on. Windows announced that Windows Defender Advanced Threat Protection is coming to Windows 7 and Windows version 8.1. And they say that the security software that combines endpoint security and data collection with cloud analytics is going to roll out this summer to older versions of Windows. Of course, for those of you that have Windows 10 have already got it, but that's a nice offer by Microsoft. Of course, the Olympics is going on in Gyeongsang in South Korea, and all kinds of news coming out of there. One thing that I liked was that they had a side event where robots were competing in their own Olympics ski tournament. Some very, very cool videos. And so they're working overtime to showcase Korean robotic technology, featuring robots to clean, guide visitors, featuring robots to clean, guide visitors, drill through a wall to pass on the Olympic torch, and now compete in the ski tournament. And it's aptly called Edge of Robot Ski Robot Challenge. 8 robot teams from research universities, institutes, and private companies have been competing. And they basically, the robots have been skiing on a 80-foot, or is it 80 meter? Yeah, 80 meter alpine skiing course at a ski resort a couple of hours away from the Olympic festivities. But anyway, this is pretty cool. The YouTube video is hilarious. So I'll have that link up in the show notes for you to check out. definitely go over there and watch the video. Google Pixel Buds are now available in the UK, Australia, and Germany. Of course, those were originally only available in the United States and Canada when they were launched last fall, but they have been expanded. So those of you in the UK, Australia, and Germany, if you're looking for the Google Pixel Buds, you can pick up a pair of those are available. The Boston Dynamics robot, you have to admit, this thing is about as weirdo as it comes. Well, their Boston Dynamics robots can now hold a door for its friends. In this 45-second video, it's again another situation where you're just going to be like weirded out a little bit. You'll see this actually two robots. One open the door and hold it for the other robot, but I thought they were going to have some sort of trick on their sleeve where it raised up and was able to open the door by itself, but it did not. So the one that opens the door has an attachment. So, but anyway, cool 45-second video for you to check out. They just continue to get smarter and smarter with this. All right, if you live overseas, Alibaba Group has signed a licensing agreement with Walt Disney that will provide the Chinese group's Youku, Youku video streaming platform, the largest Disney animation collection in China. Alibaba said in a press release that the multi-year licensing agreement signed between Alibaba Digital Media and Entertainment Group and Disney subsidiary Buena Vista International will see more than 1,000 Disney episodes released on the platform, which includes set-top boxes. And so this is getting Disney content into China, Mickey making an impression, so the Chinese will come over here and spend money at Disneyland and Disney World. Broadcom is securing as much as $100 billion of debt funding for the Qualcomm bid. So it looks like they didn't have enough in cash, so they had to go out and secure a loan in its attempt of its hostile takeover of Qualcomm. So they've enlisted two more big equity firms, strengthening the chip giant's hand in the takeover battle. They're serious about getting this job done. So the question is Qualcomm going to, are the shareholders going to vote to make this happen or not? That in lies the question, right? Hey, don't forget today you can send me an email, geeknews@gmail.com, or drop me a note on Twitter. Definitely do that on today's show. We want to hear from you. Hey, the best desktop photo editing apps. And these are some of the standard ones we've all used for many, many years. But Engadget's got a good review of talking about using Lightroom Classic, which is a nice editing tool, or of course Adobe Photoshop for advanced users. And if you hate subscriptions, there's one called Affinity Photo that's available, and it's $50, and but there's a bunch of other ones. Of course, there's GIMP. I've had GIMP loaded on every computer I've ever had, and it's a bit cluttered, and you'll have to download a converter for it if you shoot RAW. But anyway, number of good applications there for you to consider. If you don't use, if you don't want to pay, GIMP is the way to go. All right, the new budget is available. It appears that the White House fiscal year 2019 budget set for release says that the Lunar Exploration Campaign outlined in the document only provides for incremental steps to return astronauts to the moon's surface rather than a renewed focus on exploration. So basically, between now and 2023, they want to send unmanned lunar, or basically unmanned robots to Mars. And then starting in 2024, start looking at putting a man back on the moon. As expected, the document also ends funding of the International Space Station by 2025. But according to the budget, it allows $150 million in funding to ensure that private companies are able to either take over the space station or create their own habitats in low Earth. So they want to give small companies and enterprises enough time to raise funds to man and run the International Space. I just don't know how they're going to possibly do that. These are big national. You need governmental level budgets to man and maintain the International Space Station. I don't know. We'll have to see what the partners say. If someone's willing to step up with a lot of cash, it's interesting. But 2025, of course, the International Space Station is going to start getting a little long in the tooth at some point, and so that's something we have to watch out for as well. They're saying that Apple iOS 12 is not going to be more about all kinds of whiz-bang stuff. It's going to be more about improving the user interface. Independent reports are basically saying that Apple software division has decided to focus on user experience in its next major software update rather than pushing out a ton of new features. Apple has faced plenty of criticism lately due to various software issues, and they say they're going to really focus on honing and advancing and basically making everything run a lot better and have a better user experience. Of course, iOS 12 will bring various novel features, and including the ability to run iPhone apps on Macs, a new digital health tool that shows parents how much their children spend on iOS devices, emoji support for FaceTime. Really? Does anybody use FaceTime? As well as more Face ID support on the iPad, multiplayer support for AR games, a variety of different items. But sounds like a lot of new features to me. Apple sold more watches than Rolex watch and the rest of the Swiss watch industry combined in the last quarter. According to estimates, it appears that Apple may have sold as many as 8 million, 8 million watches during the holiday quarter. And that estimate suggests Apple sold more watches than the entire Swiss watch industry. That's an amazing number. It really, really is. 8 million Apple watches. Uber's going to require drivers in the United States to take a 6-hour break between long shifts. Wow, check this out. In an effort to combat drowsy driving, Uber announced today it require its most frequent drivers to take 6-hour breaks after driving for 12 hours straight. I don't want to get in any Uber with anyone that's been driving 12 hours straight. Uber is updating the driver version of the app so it logs off after counting 12 hours of driving. The drivers will not be able to log on until the app registers 6 hours offline. This update is expected to roll out nationally over a 2-week period. Drivers will also receive a warning after 10 hours of driving to let them know they're approaching the 12-hour limit. A second warning will come on after the 11th hour, and a third notification will serve as a 30-minute warning. So, wow. So because a clock is cumulative, a driver can be prompted to take a break even if they haven't driven for 12 hours consecutively. For example, someone who has picked up fares and 2 6-hour shifts would, without taking 6-hour rests in between, would have their app disabled after the second leg. And so there were some drivers in New York City that was driving as much as 16 and 19 hours a day. And drivers in the UK are required to take 6-hour breaks after 10-hour shifts. Truck drivers, I think they even have more stringent sleeping requirements than Uber drivers. Scientists dream of prosthetics and robots with electronic skin that can convey heat, pressure, just like us. But there's a big problem getting in the way. The outside world. Bumps and scrapes can damage these sensors. When we get a bumper scrape, we end up getting a scab and we heal up. And, if we don't pick it, it doesn't leave too big of a mark. And so they're worried about these prosthetics and robots. Basically the skin getting chaffed in, or whatever don't want to call it skin, but it's whatever we're going to term the prosthetic. But UC Boulder researchers have developed an e-skin that can communicate temperature and pressure, but it's also self-healing and fully recyclable. You could take a cut on a synthetic arm without panicking and reuse any damaged tissue to make replacements. And they're going to have some sort of polymer laced with silver nanopart. I'm telling you, here we go. It's these robots that self-repair. Science fiction is getting close. Any practical use is a long way off, but they're definitely on the horizon. Can you think Terminator? the Essential phone only shipped 90,000 iPhones and 90,000 phones in 2017. Andy Rubin's Essential phone, had big dreams there, but they're not doing too well in the sales department. Did anybody buy an Essential? Anyone in this audience get one? I'd love to hear if you did. Of course, Equifax, dealing with all their issues, they've hired Jamel Farishi as their new Chief Information Security Officer. I guess this guy actually has a background in security. He's not. He doesn't have a music degree or something to that effect, but he's going to be the new CISO and responsible for transforming the company's information security. He was previously the CISO at Home Depot and held similar roles at Time Warner. The Home Depot folks, their security stuff, top notch. So I'm pretty sure, and I know we've got a Home Depot theft prevention leader that listens to this show, and also a Target theft prevention leader that listens to this show. What do you guys know about this dude? Love to hear from you. Of course, content for Geek News Central continues for all the CES stuff. And one of the latest ones up is the OWC coming out with their Thunder Drive. And can you believe OWC is 30 years old? When it's amazing. And but anyway, they've got a Thunder Blade version 4, which is the fastest external drive on the market today, shifting astonishing 2,800 megabits per second and 2,450 megabits per write. It's pricey though. Woo! $1,199 for 1 terabyte, or $5,000 for 8 terabyte. Holy cow! You get what you pay for, and it will be definitely for video producers. But again, it's a Thunderbolt connection. All right, so be aware of that, okay? Anyway, some stuff from OWC. It was an interview that Don Bain did in the studio. The OWC guy, if you see his face, he doesn't look too happy. Anyway, lots of videos are continuing to be up on the website. All right, hey, Kim.com begins his new fight to avoid extradition to the United States. He's in a really battle here. He's up against went to the appeals court, and his days may be numbered in New Zealand. He might be on the verge of having a flight in shackles coming to the United States to go to court. What do you think is going to happen if he comes? How much do you think he's going to get? Much time? What do you guys think? He still has to go through the legal system once he gets here. So, what do you think? Been a lot of years, right? Time will tell. Time will tell. Hey, the Galaxy S9 should be insanely fast. It's running a Snapdragon 845. And this is, according to the folks at CNET, this thing is going to be smoking fast. And again, it's one of the first phones in 2018 to use Qualcomm's Snapdragon 845 chipset. Of course, the chipset is the phone's brain. You can't run the operating system, connect to the internet, or process photos without it. And it runs up to 25% faster as compared to the S8. So if you're a Samsung Galaxy fan and the S9 is in your potential lineup here, keep in mind that this bad boy is going to be powered by that Snapdragon 845 processor. Sounds exciting. We were in Costco yesterday, and usually getting close to Valentine's Day, they've got all kinds of specials on phones. Well, I don't need a phone. I've got an iPhone 7, I think a 7 Plus, and Voice buys my phones for me. I don't have to. They supply me a cell phone and pay my cell phone bill. So my wife and the kids are on a family plan, and the kids don't need a phone. And matter of fact, we're done buying the adult kids phones. They have to buy their own from now on. But my wife is needing an upgrade. She's on an iPhone 6 Plus. She used the one I used before, but it's barely holding a charge. And I told her, just go get the battery changed. And we're at this point where it's just time for a new phone, and then my son will go get the battery changed. But the there was a buy one and get like $690 towards another one, and you had to put on another line, and I'm like, that's dumb. So there was really no deals, at least at Costco, for buying an iPhone. And she was like, I should go to T-Mobile. They had a great deal going on. And so, anyway, I just told her, I said, I just order you a phone from Apple. How about that? I'll just buy you one and we'll get it and be done with it. Change the SIM card out and, move on. I think that's probably the game plan. And maybe while we're in Florida, we get within striking distance of an Apple store, just go ahead and get her one. Get her 8+. So anyway, we'll let you know how it goes. Kirk did find an article related to Hawaii. Human waste crisis threatens tourism in Hawaii. Well, we've got a big sewage issue here. They've got, believe it or not, a lot of cesspools in Hawaii. I didn't even know there was that many. According to the state health department, there's 88,000 cesspools across the 8 major islands. I don't know how many here in Oahu, but they're looking at a $1.7 billion to clean it up. And they're starting to see some nitrate levels in the water in our aquifer. And of course, nitrate is basically from sewage. So, not good. And, But these cesspools deposit 53 million gallons of raw sewage into the ground every day. That's just, oh my God, unbelievable. Welcome to Hawaii, a cesspool. Hey, there's a report that an Apple AirPod exploded. This is according to a guy that was wearing one at the gym. Here's the thing. You're going to be sweating a lot. Why wear the AirPod at the gym? Okay? Get some other headsets going on here. But apparently that's where happened. One of them heated up and smoked. Didn't burn him or anything, but Apple is investigating. Pennsylvania, they want a more secure paper-backed voting machines, but can't afford them yet. So they have a new law that basically says as they replace voting machines, the electronic voting machines have to leave a paper trail. And it's going to be a security measure to prevent basically help prevent against hacking. So, but again, no money to replace the machines, but hopefully Pennsylvania over time will get some higher accounting level going on. All right, there's a list of smart home devices that work with the Amazon devices, and it's a good article over at techhive.com. Talks about the variety of different switches, plugs, speakers, outlets, switches, you name it, light bulbs. So with pricing and everything linked in here, I'm sure this guy's is tied to this guy's Amazon account. But if you're interested in knowing what the Amazon device can control in your home as far as a smart home, this is a good starter, a good primer for you. Apparently, the Winter Olympics was hit by a cyber attack. Their websites were taken offline after being hit. They was down for about 12 hours. So looks like they had some issues. Prior to the game, some cybersecurity experts expressed concern that countries like Russia and North Korea might try to target the event. Of course, the Russians and the North Koreans denied everything, but it could have been some guy in a garage in Jersey. That's what it could have been. Facebook has lost around 2.8 million U.S. users under 25 last year. I'm not surprised at all that they're losing that group. Also, the Elon Musk Roadster launch sparked sales of Hot Wheels toy by Tesla. What was originally a little $10 Hot Wheel is now selling for $100 to $150 on eBay. So those will stay hot for a while. If you're a Hot Wheels collector, you probably already got one already. Go ahead and sell a few. Microsoft launch for Android updated with Cortana integration. Microsoft is trying to shove Cortana any place it can. And it looks like Microsoft is making sure that users will know about and use Cortana because the latest update to the Microsoft launcher for Android has integrated Cortana into the launcher. What this means is that instead of 2 separate apps, the launcher will come with Cortana built into it, which should make it easier. I don't even know what this app is. What is the Microsoft Launcher app? I don't even have a clue what that tool even is. All right, how many of you played Pong on a black and white TV? Well, there's a giant size Pong, and you can play it by shuffling your feet. So it's a Pong variant that uses a LiDAR sensor. So pretty cool. The same tech that it's used in self-driving cars. And it creates an enormous 40 by 60 playing field where the paddle only moves when you and your partner shuffle your feet together. So you could probably get a pretty good workout doing this. It looks like a pretty big paddle, though, to be honest with you, in the picture. I didn't never have that big of a paddle playing Pong. Last couple of articles tonight. The HomePod teardown. This thing is built like a brick. They had to cut this thing with a hacksaw to get it opened up. But they do have a breakdown on it and on what it takes to take it apart. All right, final thing is I had gotten some email, and let me get that loaded because there was some good stuff here. That's the right one. So I got an email from Richard. He says, "Hey, Todd, dude, you've got to check this out. So awesome. This guy of Smarter Everyday YouTube channel did a video on 3D sound from the SpaceX launch. It's like you're actually there at the Cape Canaveral grounds. Seriously, this is amazing. He's also launching another channel called Sound Traveler. Anyway, here's the link. I did hear this already, Richard, but my mistake was I did not listen to it the first time with headphones on. So for those of you that, I'm going to have this link up in the show notes. Mandatory, you got to listen with headphones. Better, and closed muffed ones are better. Watch the volume at the beginning. It will really rock you. I agree that this is really, really awesome. So, Richard, thanks for the reminder on the list. Now, Jack sent me an email. Cameraman Jack and TriCaster Jack. He says, Todd, you want to know about blockchain? I found this article of you, so I hope you do too, Jack. Now, I have not read this yet. So, I'm going to include this in the show notes so that the rest of you can also get this as well. So, Jack, thanks for sending that. And Near sent me an email, said, Todd, before Kirk takes on the enormous challenge, let me share my thoughts. Some businesses are built around a certain personally, in the way he does things. It's not transportable, portable, sellable, or otherwise. It is what it is. Geek News Central's Todd Cochran, and Todd Cochran's Geek News take Todd out of the loop and something else, or most likely nothing. I'm not saying that Kirk may not do a good job, but it will not be your podcast. Congrats on the wedding and have a great time. So no doubt, Near. But again, I told Kirk, make it his own, do his own show as he wants to do. I did give him some guidelines and sponsors and that kind of stuff. But again, he is a temporary guest host while I'm gone, and we'll evaluate and see how it goes and look for feedback. No pressure. And we're just, you guys are all good sports here, and we'll have fun with it. And I told Kirk to have fun with it too. Got an email from Jim. Okay, great suggestions. Dark Matter, Arc. I'd seen Arc already. That was good. Pretty good. Travelers. I wasn't a big fan in Travelers. Next, I have not seen. So Jim, thanks for those. Got an email from Phil Todd. Hey, I loved it. Yeah, on the last show, I heard you're looking for sci-fi. The Expanse is really good. I think I watched one episode of that. I'll go back and consume some more. Phil, thanks for that. And I think that was it. So what else? What other sci-fi stuff? Doesn't have to be on Netflix. It could be on Amazon Prime, maybe Hulu. I don't know if there's anything on Hulu of that regards. It's really hard to get some of the actual the Sci-Fi Channel. Really hard to get. And is there a way to get the Sci-Fi Channel? Because it's not carried by anyone out here. So is there a way to subscribe to the Sci-Fi Channel? I haven't found a way to do that manually. because I know they've got a lot of great programming too. But anyway, that's it. That's it for me today. And I'm going to be out of here, folks. Out of here for the next 3 shows. It's in Kirk's hands. He's going to have a good time. And I'll be listening, see how it goes. And everyone be gentle. And I'll be back with you in a week and a half. I'll be back here on the show. It's been my pleasure bringing the show. And again, watch Facebook, watch YouTube, and I'm going to have some stuff there for you. You can follow along, have pictures of the reception and picture time with the wedding dress and all that stuff. So you guys can see me in my dapper suit that I picked up on Saturday. Oh yeah, I'm Mac Daddy styling in this thing. Most money I've ever spent on a single suit ever. I'm just giving you, I'm just telling you. And it looks fantastic. So, anyway, that's, again, I'm a little country boy from Michigan. So, getting me dressed up, you have to scrub the dirt off a little bit, but, that's the way it is. All right, geeknews@gmail.com, geeknews@gmail.com. Please take care of the sponsor. Go over to geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. It's my pleasure when you have my eternal thanks when you do so. And it keeps the lights on here and keeps the bills paid. I definitely appreciate everyone's ongoing support. We've had a couple of record incredible months, and really thank you for knocking it out of the ballpark. I do truly appreciate it. And I'm going to miss you guys. We'll see you, and gals, we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next time on the Geek News Central podcast. Everyone take care. Aloha.